Well, everyone, I have no idea if you can hear me or see me, but we're going to seem like it's working out okay, and you're gonna have to bear with me while we get used to all of this new stuff. I finally went and did this, but give me a minute. You know, I have to triple dog check to see how this is coming through, so let's have a look. Dun, 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 dun. To triple dog check to see. Well, would you look at that? It's actually working pretty decent. So, the reason I'm doing this the way we're doing this right now is pretty confident you can see with the camera. I'm actually plugging in my DJI Pocket 3 because I want to get better quality, and I'm pretty confident if you've looked at some of the past live episodes that we've done here, the quality looks like shit, and it's mainly because I'm using, of course, the webcam from my computer. So, um, slowly but surely, again, bear with me. I know it's been a minute since I've kind of really put out some new stuff. Number one, we have a new camera, which is hopefully going to be able to stream in 4K. Still trying to figure that shit out. This whole OBS software, apparently it's the streaming software that gets the live stuff out. Still way beyond my technical expertise. And then yeah, of course, I bit the metaphoric mic thing. You know what I mean? I finally did it. I finally jumped on board with the mic. So it sounds pretty good. Like from what I can tell, again, if I'm let's see if I'm playing this right. The way we're doing this right now is pretty confident you can see. So with the camera, I'm actually plugging in my. Seems decent. I have no idea if it's any better or worse than the microphone I had from before, the one that I use on Comic Con trips and stuff. But you will have to let me know in the comments if you ever watch this, those two or three of you. But I figured we'd hop on here for a minute. It is very early in the morning. Many of you are probably asleep, and that's okay because, quite frankly, I'd rather you guys watch this after the fact, and it's already been a few minutes. So I'll try to keep this as brief as I possibly can and obviously get to the point because it's been very challenging trying to find some motivation, to keep going with a lot of these. I guess going back to the way we used to do things, as odd as that sounds, reviews, television, movies, blah, 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 blah. And it's been very challenging with obviously the death of Charlie Kirk. And today is the day. It is, if you're not aware, it is his official memorial. They are expecting upwards of 100,000 people to attend the Arizona stadium, like a football stadium or something like that. So I'm sure it's going to be on television somewhere. I hope that it is, and I will hopefully be able to watch it. But it's just been challenging. It really, really has, and I know I'm not alone. I know there are many people out there just like me, and unfortunately, there are many out there that are the opposite and are still in celebration because we're gonna have to talk about the Kimmel situation, and but I also want to get a little bit more back to some of the discussion around television reviews. There's been some new stuff coming out. I mean, Gen V just brought out their second season, first three episodes. The Terminal List, Dark Wolf, is one of the greatest series that has ever existed, especially if you were a fan of the first season of not Dark Wolf, of The Terminal List with Chris Pratt. Tron Ares is coming out in just a few weeks, which I am hesitantly optimistic about, but at the same time, there's a lot of this bullshit political yada 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 going on. Jared Leto, his accusations, yada yada yada. The more I hear about it, the more I'm very worried about it. But again, we'll talk a little bit about that. And then there's other stuff. I mean, gosh, I know we're talking about it a little bit before, but Alien Earth just might be one of the dumbest shows that has ever existed. If you think that this is a great show, to each his or her own, but you cannot convince me otherwise that this is not truly some of the dumbest writing that has ever existed on modern day television streaming. It destroys any sort of respect that the Alien franchise had. So we'll just kind of leave it at that. But kicking things off, let's just get it out of the way. Let's go over the Jimmy Kimmel thing, and let's make it really, really quick. This is not a free speech issue. If you believe for a minute that this is a free speech issue, I highly encourage you to, number one, do a little research. Number two, do some more research. And then number three, do even more research. Because this is all about character, integrity, and business if you are actually paying attention. Let's be very, very clear. Trump has nothing to do with this. Oh, but the FCC guy and blah, 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 he's tweeting about it in his social, blah, 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 blah. If you actually think that this has anything to do with Trump, this is like another, what do they say when, like, this is a new variant of TDS. And I've said this before, and we're a broken record on this channel. I'll say this many, many times. TDS is real. It is something that is just stuck in people's brains that for some reason it's an obsession that I can't put my finger on. But, I mean, let's be honest, rhetorically, I know exactly why it is what it is. But, again, ultimately, if you actually think this is an attack on free speech, the Constitution, democracy, blah, 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 no. It's total, absolute bullshit. It's always bullshit. And it's for the first time in a very long time, probably in over a decade. The Kimmel situation is what's called accountability. Because if you haven't forgotten the last, 8 to 10 years with the COVID situation, with Trump literally being banned off of all social media platforms, this is not new. This is not something like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening, blah, blah, blah. No, this has been happening for years, decades. You remember when we tried to ask questions during the vid situation? Remember when we just tried to say, hey, maybe it's X, Y, and Z. Maybe you should go outside and get some exercise, stuff like that. Yeah, remember how we were all shut down? Remember when Biden had his whole, what is it? They called it metaphorically, the information, like the Harry Potter thing, the misinformation board or something, and these were real things. Even, what is it, Zuckerberg himself, Facebook, Meta, they literally admitted under oath that they were forced by their administration, aka the Biden administration, to literally silence people on the right. This isn't like news. And I think that's what at the bottom of it, this isn't news. This has been known for years that conservatives have been going, but they're the target of everything in relation to just all this political crap. And unfortunately, with the specifics to Charlie Kirk, we are in a very, very dangerous time. And quite frankly, I said this in my previous video that I did when the announcement first came out about Charlie's death. It scares the shit out of me. It scares the absolute shit out of me. But not to the point where we're not going to shut up. We are seriously, you have lit a fire under our ass so high or flammable, that's the right word. We are going to be louder than ever. And I promise you, we will never promote violence. We will never promote hate, blah, 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 blah. But I'll tell you what, this whole toning down the rhetoric, this whole like, can't we come together? That's gone. That's done. I'm not saying we can't be humans with each other. I'm not saying we can't commune with each other. But as I said before, and as I have to give credit to Steven Crowder, you stay in your lane and I'll stay in mine. Because this whole everything is fascist, everything is racist, everything is something, insert ism here, it's done. You've officially lost that battle. You've officially lost that war. Because the very thing that you're supposedly standing for, stood for, past whatever, present, past tense, You literally shot and murdered the guy who that's all he was. That's all he wanted to do, was bring people of differing points of view together and have a peaceful discussion. That's all it was. And all this rhetoric about Charlie being a fascist and a racist and all this other stuff. Number one, you're blowing things way out of context, because there literally is video proof of him saying these things that is basically everything that's not what you're saying it is. And then number two, you literally murdered him for speech. So don't give me this whole, Jimmy Kimmel thing, oh, they're attacking free speech, democracy, blah, 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 fascist, when you were literally killing our guys for doing the exact same thing. And one last point on the Kimmel thing, and we'll shut up, because let's be very clear, and I know I can't take any credit for this, I'm just, you put the pieces together, you watch the news, blah, 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 blah. This is everything the left does. This is everything the media does. This is everything the politics do, where they want the attention back on them. They want Jimmy to be just as the victim as Charlie Kirk. And it is absolutely disgusting. It's atrocious. It's sickening. So many words that I can't think of right now in the early morning. But what it ultimately does come down to is this is some sick ass shit, that you were trying to divert the attention away from the fact that you assassinated one of the most peaceful, genuine human beings on this planet, all in the name of free speech, and you're trying to make him the guy that everybody should care about. The dude, go on a podcast, he will. Literally, I give it a month at most. You're going to see Kimmel on a podcast. He's going to bring in these other people, celebs, elites, blah, 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 blah. And they're going to try to attempt to make some big deal out of all of this situation. And everybody on my side is going to laugh their asses off at it. And everybody on the other side is going to say, well, oh, if it didn't, if it wasn't for ABC, Disney, Trump, blah, 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 it wouldn't be this, blah, blah, blah. It's like, shut the fuck up. Nobody cares. Nobody cares anymore about this victimization. Whether it's Kimmel, whether it's XYZ, insert XYZ. Nobody cares anymore. When you put a bullet in a guy's neck, you've lost. You have lost beyond words and comprehension. I don't even know what the right words are, but I think you get my point in that. So I'll simply shut up with the Kimmel situation, and I'll just say this again. Today is the official memorial of Charlie Kirk, and you can see his books behind me. We've got a whole new setup, which still getting used to. Still might have to get some better lighting in here. And again, you'll have to let me know what the sounds like. But I'm going to do my best. I really am, because if there's one thing that he has done, is he has lit a fire, like I said, broken record, up everybody's ass to do something more, to be better, to do the best that you possibly can be. And I'm not afraid to admit, as I've said, as little popularity or as little attention as this channel got, I probably have destroyed a lot of it, because I've been gone for so long. It's been about a month or two since I really put out some decent content, and that's me. That's on me, and it's just been challenging. It's maybe one day we'll do another series or something. Maybe I don't know, maybe I'll do another channel. I don't know. Maybe set up something different where we just focus specifically on the politics. But being in blue states, being in blue cities, and everything in between, it is truly some of the most challenging things that I have ever experienced in my life. And with especially things going on right now, I can promise you, my head is just spinning around like a helicopter everywhere I am, whether it's in public, blah, 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 because I tell you what, I don't trust a damn one of you. I really, really don't. There's some things I'd love to say, and I got to be careful. Again, paycheck. Obviously, I'm going to be a little more open and honest and real, but there are some things I would love to blatantly tell you guys, but I won't yet. But it does relate to, I don't know, you might hypothetically say employment. But regardless of that, again, just being out in this world, it's scary. It really, really is, because you just don't know who this person to your right is or who this person behind you is, because my God, if you wear a hat or if you wear some form of clothing that triggers these people, we now see evidence with Charlie that you can literally be murdered for it. And look at the gal again, the Ukrainian gal. What, the guy had 14 felonies? 14? And he was literally on the street. So you don't know who these people are. And I'm sorry to say it, but you can't trust any of them. You really, really can't. Because if anything, if what has been proven true, there is evil in this world. And I will leave it with this. If you don't realize the level of evil that is in this world, that humanity possesses, I really want you to take a look in the mirror and reevaluate what's important, what's not, X, Y, and Z. Because unfortunately, I've had to experience evil from a very long time ago when I was very young to tenfold what it is now. And I'm not, I mean, let's be honest, I'm not preaching my choir, playing my violin. All I'm saying is, you'll have a better life when you accept the fact that there is evil in this world that only can be the causation of the devil's work, of Satan. It's absolute fact. And you can think I'm crazy for saying that. You can think I'm a loony. But ultimately, the last few weeks have proven just how evil this world is. Just how easy it is to get people to think one thing or the next. And sadly, what it comes down to is, I was thinking about it the other day, my history books. I was thinking about, again, all the Nazis, the fascists, blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking about, like, how did these people, I've been watching some, old World War II movies, Saving Private Ryan, what was the one with Inglourious Bastards? Fantastic film. But, I'm watching and I'm just thinking to myself, like, how did these people get to this point when it came to the massacre and the killing of millions of Jewish people? How did these people get to that point? And it's clear as day. Today. Literally today. It is clear as day how it happened. Because if you push so much of the Nazi, the Hitler, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, eventually there are going to be people that are susceptible to it and are going to believe it. If you push and push and push and push and push, at the end of the day, what do you expect? So I'll just leave it at that. Keep your head on a swivel. Protect yourself if you can, preferably with a firearm, only from a safety perspective, a self-defense perspective. Learn how to use it. Get your proper carry permits, blah, blah, blah. Train with it. Learn how to use it, so on and so forth. Be careful. Be you, stand out, scream to the heavens what you believe, what you preach, what you love, what you have passion for. Be respectful, don't hate, don't promote violence, but be damn careful. And I'll simply leave it at that. So, let's get into some of the nerdy shit. And not a sponsor, but you know me, I love my Dr. Pepper, so... Something I wanted to... So if I'm looking at my nuts, it's not because I'm looking at my nuts, it's because my computer's right here. That's controlling everything. So I've got like the DJI video right here. I've got the microphone right here. Computer's right here that's doing everything. And then I want to see... This is where things are going to get challenging because... I want to bring, you guys remember Richard, he was obviously a fan, did a stream here, and then we were going to actually do one yesterday, but unfortunately I got tied up with some business stuff. But cut a long story short, I am still trying to figure all this out, where we can share I can share my stream with him or have him join in with it, because I am not seeing anything here. And you're going to have to bear with me for a minute. Talk amongst yourselves, whatever that is. Let's see here. Live chats, blah, 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 blah. And then you're probably asking yourself, why didn't you do this beforehand? Oh, trust me, I have been trying to figure all this shit out without any luck whatsoever. But, I guess we're just going to have to figure this out later. Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about that. So let's get into some nerdy stuff. I do, like I said, I want to talk Alien Earth. Sweet baby Jesus. I do not understand. I mean, it's the cliche. Why you're still watching it? It's the traffic accident. You can't look away. You just doesn't matter. Like human instinct, you kind of keep watching. It's no different than like a Grey's Anatomy's on season 22 or The Simpsons are on season 50 million. They're terrible. They're absolute garbage. But you just keep watching because you realize there's no way. You start to think after each episode they can't do worse. They can't do worse. They can absolutely do worse, especially with Alien Earth. I want to give a little credit to the aesthetics. I said this when it came to Alien Romulus when we did the review there. Um, it is a visually good show. The gore is way over the top. It's completely unnecessary, and I don't mean that in a like, oh, you're just weak to it. No, no, no. It just is over the top. Alien is supposed to be gory, but not to this level. It's just they're trying to almost do like a Evil Dead, chainsaw guy arm. I forget his name, but you know who I'm talking about. It's Halloween, and it's terrible. And the story, I don't whoever is writing this show, how you have a job is beyond me. Is truly beyond me how you have a job with the writing that this show has. Just to give you an example, and I don't mind spoiling this because quite frankly, who gives a shit? You have one of these companies, the Wayland Company or whatever it is, and they've obviously, number one, a spaceship has crashed down onto Earth and nobody knew about it, nobody heard about it until it actually happened, yet you're in the future. Not a single sensor or any alert happened until the ship actually crashed. But on this ship, they had all these specimens. Of course, the aliens. They had these other specimen alien things. So they're in their containment. So think of it like a zoo, they're in cages. And the whole premise of the show is you have these kids, like 10, 12-year-old, 14-year-old kids who are like dying of some horrible disease. Their minds are being placed, or their souls, I should say, being placed into androids. So they're hybrid. They're human-android hybrids. The creepy part, number one, is why are you picking children for this? Because apparently the guy that's in charge just really likes that. But again, it's Disney, so it kind of makes sense. The whole premise is around Peter Pan, Neverland. Again, kind of creepy. But you put these kids, literally these 10, 12-year-old children, in charge of taking care of such things as a xenomorph, aka the alien species. What do you think is going to happen? They're going to fuck up. They're going to die. They're going to do stupid shit. But yet you put them in charge. And here's the creme de la creme, cherry on the top. The main character, Wendy, I guess her name is, you're now giving a language to the alien species. So she apparently developed this language and is able to now speak to the xenomorphs. It's the dumbest fucking thing on the planet. And now they're best buds. So we're in episode 7. There's only going to be one more episode left, and maybe we'll do a recap of the whole season. It's the dumbest fucking shit on the planet is the fact that these two are now best buds. So she is using the xenomorph as like a bodyguard to get away from they finally are trying to escape Neverland with her brother and some of these other kids, but everything's going to shit because it's the dumbest fucking thing on the planet. I do not recommend it whatsoever. And if you want to watch something, like I mentioned, The Terminalist Dark Wolf is absolutely incredible. If you enjoyed The Terminal List, the first season with Chris Pratt, I thought it was a bit of a slow burn. I'll be very clear if you haven't watched it. The Terminal List, it does have a bit of a slow burn. Once it gets going, though, it's honestly hands down one of the best series I've ever watched. Easily top 10. And when we heard of this new series, Dark Wolf, of course, is telling the story beforehand. So it's a prequel. Everybody, you get a little cautious because, again, it is a prequel series. How are you going to incorporate the same characters because you already know what's going to happen? And they have done it beautifully. It really, really has. They've done it beautifully. I won't spoil what happens at the end of the Terminalist first season, because the main character, Chris Pratt's buddy, that's who they're focusing on in this prequel Dark Wolf series. So obviously what happens to him at the end of the Terminalist, you kind of wonder how his story was from before, and you are seeing how it is. And he was a pretty, I'm not gonna lie to you, he's a dude, he's a badass. He's a fucking badass, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. But yeah, it just, there's a lot you have to pay attention to. So definitely keep your phone, like, put it on the table. Do not look at your phone. You will need to pay attention to it. But that's what makes it so good, is because this is real storytelling. And if you really like, if you love that kind of crime, drama, war, but in today's kind of era, you really will think it's badass. Especially, I mean, it's got Chris Pratt in it. It's nothing, how could you go wrong? It's Chris fucking Pratt. And if you're trying to cancel him over the fact that he tried to make a prayer after the whole Charlie Kirk thing, fuck you. That's all I can say, is just fuck you. I'm not afraid to say that out loud, because if a prayer really triggers you that badly, you really do need God. You need Jesus. Just putting that out there. So that's that. Well, the other things that we were talking about too. Wednesday season 2, I am having the hardest time trying to get through this season. It is some of the most dull, boring shit I have ever seen in my entire life. The first season I absolutely loved. This second season I am banging my head against the wall, because holy shit, I didn't think you could make something so boring with such an amazing character, such an amazing cast. You actually brought more people into this cast, and yet you've made it the dullest thing I've ever seen. And I'm only on episode 3 of 8. I'm having the hardest time ever trying to get through this, but maybe I'll put it in the background sometime. We did, obviously, like I said, Tron Ares. So, if you know, or if you don't know, I don't even know if I've ever done an actual official review, and maybe I should do an official review on this. If you ask me, Tron Legacy is hands down probably the most underrated film of all time. Hand to God. The most underrated film of all time. It's probably top 3. Easily top 3 of my favorite movies ever. And so, of course, nearly a decade now, probably over a decade now, we are going to officially get the final, or supposedly the final, I don't know if it's going to be a final, but it's the third in the trilogy, Tron Ares. The fact of the matter is, this movie is likely going to be dead on arrival. Let's be very clear about that. From news I've read to where, like, you know, they're not even going to be touching anything from Legacy or the original Tron. That scares the hell out of me, because, again, Legacy was everybody's favorites. How are you not going to touch on that film is beyond me. So you're going to make this a standalone film, but yet you're going to have the Tron logo, the Tron story, the Tron background. It doesn't make any sense. But worse than that, of course, is the controversy surrounding it. Everybody right now with the Kimmel thing is boycotting Disney, and then you've got the Jared Leto situation, which I'm not saying anything regarding his situation outside of in the world. But again, you just, what it seems like from the trailers, from what we've heard in the story, they put a lot of this budget, probably for this film, into the visuals. And I'm not going to lie to you, these visuals look incredible from the trailer. This movie is going to be visually mesmerizing, and I hope it is. But you put Jared Leto as a lead, and I'm sorry, but you literally are shooting yourself in the foot. There is no question about it. You are shooting yourself in the foot if you actually think Jared Leto can hold this film and make it popular and whatever. It's, I don't know. I mean, again, like I said, I'm a huge Tron fan. I want it to succeed, but I just, everything I'm reading, everything I'm seeing, it's going to bomb. And I just, what do you expect? It's just what Disney's good at. They destroy franchises. That's what they are best known for now. And the reality of it is, this Tron Ares only seems to be the continuation of that. One of the biggest, also too, the downfalls, there's absolutely no fucking merchandise. Like, you could have made a killing. I mean, I don't know if you can see it. Maybe I'll have to bring it up another time. But actually, yeah, look at that. Tron right there. The merchandise alone was going to get you millions of dollars, and you decided to go against it. I mean, just the disc alone, I would have bought a disc. You know, the whole Tron, the disc. Like, I would have, the identity disc, I would have bought that. But you haven't even made that. So, okay. You shoot yourself in the foot, you know? Dr. Pepper time. What else did we talk about, too, in the beginning? Gen V. Gen V, and then I'll shut up because I think that was all I mentioned. I'm trying to think about what I'm watching right now. Terminalist Dark Wolf, amazing. Tron Ares, scared, but we'll see. Alien Earth is dear God. Wednesday is trash. We'll get to Gen V season 2 here in a second. What was Invasion, Apple TV? They actually brought out their third season now. Decent, very Apple TV. If you were a fan before, you might enjoy this season. It's actually a little bit better than the previous. The biggest downfall of Invasion is there's just so much talking that you just fall asleep. It is truly one of the dullest, most boring shows on the planet. But once you actually start going somewhere with it, it actually ain't so terrible. So I'll leave you with that. What else was there too? There's a couple movies I'm trying to watch. The one that has what's his face spacing on it. Guy who played Elvis, young kid. He was one. He's basically partnering up with Doctor Who, Matt Smith. I forget the title of the film. Wow, it's almost like you have Austin Butler. That's what I'm thinking of. What was it? Let me see what the movie was. Hold on. Austin Butler movies. Caught Stealing is a film I actually do want to check out. I have found a way to watch it, and hopefully I'm going to watch it tomorrow, and I'll give you guys my 2 cents hopefully when I finish that up, because again, it looks pretty good, not gonna lie to you. DiCaprio has a new film out as well, which I could give two shits about, quite frankly. And there was other shows too. What were other shows? It's kind of one of the only nice things about doing a live spiel here is obviously you don't have to worry about editing. You have to be worried about what you say. And trust me, especially in today's world, for those 2 or 3 of you that watch this, trust me, I'm not dumb. But I have this app thing that keeps track of everything I'm watching. Oh! Super excited this week. We have probably the final season, I think, is going to be Alice in Borderland. If you have not watched Alice in Borderland, it's on Netflix. Truly, and I know I say that a lot, and I'm a broken record for it, bang on, one of the best shows that has ever been made, ever created, ever. Easily top 5 best shows ever made. Alice in Borderland, I guess, is based off of a manga series? You have to excuse my lingo if I get that wrong, but it is incredible. It's based off of these group of people. Cut a long story short, they get trapped into this world. Big spoiler here. An asteroid landed in Tokyo, so they're all in comas, but everybody was in that same spot, they have to play these games to survive, and they have to capture the cards of a deck, like a deck of cards. So with season 3, obviously we've gone through the first 2 seasons, and last but not least, of course, is going to be the Joker cards. So it looks absolutely incredible if you haven't seen the trailer. The cast is truly amazing, and something I got to give credit to I think it's the Korean film industry. They really do have some absolutely amazing television and films. So if you really want to kind of explore that, I recommend it. It's, as much as I don't want to recommend Netflix, it's really a lot of where you kind of have to watch it. But seriously, Alice in Borderland, I cannot wait. It starts this week, season 3. And the best thing about Netflix in this regard is they will drop all episodes. So you don't have to do this like waiting for a month and a half or 2 months just to get the fucking thing out. So go check that one out. Gen V. Okay, we'll talk about Gen V real quick, and then I'll point out a few last little contenders, and we'll just kind of wrap this thing up. But Gen V Season 2. Here's the thing with The Boys. And I've said this in reviews. I've said this in kind of just talking about The Boys over the years. You know, we're going to get the 5th season. I think it's like at the end of this year or the beginning of next year. And of course, you're getting the spin-offs. I was a huge fan of The Boys. I loved it when it first came out. I love the story. I love the concept. I was one of those rare people that read the comics because it's just that good. But again, it kind of it fumbled on itself. It went the political route, and albeit, somebody who is me, who's a conservative or right wing, blah blah blah, whatever you want to call it, we're not blind to the fact that you did it from the start. Everybody says like, oh well, it's they've if you think it started in season 3, we've been doing it since the beginning. No shit, Sherlock. We're not stupid as fuck. But with these spin-offs, of course, you had Gen V, and again, the first season, I'll give you credit. It wasn't terrible. It's a decent concept. You're able to mix it in with the boys' universe. But it just, especially with this season 2, there's been 3 episodes out so far. They are doing, you're just dragging this shit through the mud in relation to the modern climate of society. Whether it's the social media, whether it's the politics and the agendas. You're at a point now, specifically in this first 3 episodes alone, where I'm literally kind of turning it off after about halfway through because it just seems like there is an obsession with it. And I'm going to give you some examples here. These first 3 episodes, there is an obsession about liquid coming out of male asses that I have never experienced before in my life. And I know you might be thinking to yourself, what the fuck is he thinking or talking about? The level of goo and humanness that is coming out of assholes, literal assholes, in these first 3 episodes. Like, is that a kink? Whoever wrote this? Is that like a kink of yours? Is this like an obsession you have? Because The Boys does teeter on that line of, borderline gross, grotesque. But they do it. They've been able to do it in a way that's pretty badass sometimes. I mean, sometimes it's even downright hysterical when the guy goes into the dick and he sneezes and he blows the guy up. It's fucking hysterical. But with this season 2, it's just ass. Like a guy chugs an entire beer keg straight from his ass. Okay, cute, maybe. But then you get to another scene where literally another guy's head comes out of another guy's ass. What? I mean, again, there's just an obsession with ass. And you can imagine there's a lot of other stuff there too, but the storyline is kind of weak. Let's be honest. It was really sad that one of the main cast did actually die before the season was filming. And, they obviously do kind of fill in a bit of that background. But the story is very weak. I'm honestly, again, there's going to be 8 episodes of the season. I guess we'll see. I'm not exactly like, oh my god, I can't wait for the next episode. It's just kind of like, meh. So, I don't know. I guess we'll just see. I guess if you're bored, watch it. But otherwise, I'm sure there's a lot of other shit you can watch too. There was one I saw in here. Stay as far away from Peacemaker as you possibly can. James Gunn, you are sick in the head. And if the fact that DC gave him the reins to create this next universe, just, yeah. Superman, the movie, was supposed to be, bring your family, bring your friends. Literally first episode of season 2 of Peacemaker, there is an orgy with just nothing but dicks and vaginas. So you threw that out the window, but I won't go into that right now. Just, yeah. But yeah, the other 2, Prime Video right now has this series called The Girlfriend. It stars, what's her face? You're gonna know it. Where is it? Dun, 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 dun. Oh my god. It's one of those, again, I love having the ability to just look this shit up. The Girlfriend. Cast. Olivia Cooke. I actually love her because she was in Ready Player One, and that was kind of where I first got to experience her. And then obviously she's been in the Game of Thrones dragon shit, so I love her as an actress. She's amazing. It's one of those, it's only like a one type season and it's done. It's hysterical, it's a drama, it's horror and everything in between, but it's got a decent story arc to where it keeps your attention long story short, this crazy girlfriend tries to get in with this rich guy. The mom's not having it, and of course, it's just this battle between the mom and her. But it gets pretty gruesome in some respects. But it's just a good story. If you're looking for something totally new, something random to watch, check that out because I really enjoyed it. And I mean, will they continue it? I hope so. But there's really not very many places you could take once you finish up this first season. So just, I'll kind of, without spoiling anything, I'll just kind of leave you where they wrap it up in a nice little bow for you, at least in my opinion. Last but not least, Daryl Dixon season 3. Holy shit, this thing is amazing. Now, the fact that the Walking Dead universe is still in existence is absolutely insane to me. Like, you really have to just think to yourself, how this shit keeps going is well beyond me. And yeah, there are going to be far more misses than there are hits. Daryl Dixon is amazing. And I really do mean that from the bottom of my heart because they're showing you the world, you know. Although it was, I said this, although it was very silly because, of course, how does he end up from the States to Paris in the apocalypse? It's kind of a dumb way, but he eventually gets there. But now he's trying to come home. And this third series is, you know, they're walking through England, then they get stuck in Spain. So they're trying to get home from Spain. So the way they're taking the show, the direction, it's such a unique direction of storytelling because you get to see the world in the Walking Dead universe. You know, these aren't in the comics. This is something that they're just literally coming up from scratch, and I have to give them credit. The way they're writing this story is brilliant, and I hope they continue to because again, some of these other spin-offs, like the new Dead City, the one that has Negan and Maggie in it, is fucking horrible. I would not recommend that series to save my life. That was one of those series spin-offs that they should have never done. And the fact that they're continuing it with another season is beyond me. I want to see the reunion between Rick Grimes and Daryl. I hope they eventually get to that point, but in the meantime, if you're still a fan of that series or the genre, The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon is something you should start if you haven't already because season 3 is fucking amazing. So, just leave you with that. One last little sip. Because I know I'm running a little bit long here, but we'll wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for watching, for listening. Lord knows how this is going to come out. Lord knows how we're going to do this in the future, but I hope it's at least better quality. I hope the sound is coming through. Otherwise, you're just seeing 42 minutes of... It's just fucking awkward. But I guess we'll just leave you with a final spiel of, you know, again, Charlie Kirk. And I don't think we should ever stop talking about him. I really, really don't. I really think we need to keep his spirit alive, keep his whatever other words in a positive light you can think of, because as horrible as this situation is, because it's still ongoing, as horrible as the situation from the Ukrainian gal that got murdered on that subway, it is definitely woken a lot of people up. And I've been praying to God every day, please wake these people up, because they're living in a fantasy in relation to the evils of the world, in relation to just the realities of the world. And it breaks my heart what happened to Charlie, because I want to be selfish, and I'm going to sound selfish here. There's a good friend of mine who was also, believe it or not, she knows Charlie Kirk, and we were this close. I was going to get the chance to meet him. I really, really was. And I don't mean that to sound cocky or egotistical or whatever it is, but I just mean that in a, like, from the very first time I met this person, I'm not going to go too many details, but it's one of those weird fate, godly things, you know, Jesus thing. And I know I never really have good words with that, but there was a reason I met her, and she's been amazing, this lady friend of mine, because we met probably a while ago now, and one of the mutual things we had was we had that hesitancy, and we met in the real world, and you know, you have that hesitancy of, like, Are you on the right side? Are you on the left side? Where are your viewpoints? Come to find out, we both have the same viewpoints. And it's been nothing but an incredible journey from there. And she, like I said, has close ties with the Kirk family. And we've been talking about it, and we were kind of like, she's like, I swear I'm gonna I'm gonna get you that chance to meet Charlie. This was, of course, before he was killed. And I was always excited. I never expected it. I never kind of was like begging her for it, or like, um, I guess annoying her for it, like, hey, am I ever, when is it gonna happen? When is it gonna happen? When is it gonna happen? But we got closer and closer and closer the more that we talked. So when he got killed, I kind of was just like, he was my idol. He was truly like, my number one idol was Steve Irwin, hands down, hand to God. Steve Irwin, you guys know, or if you don't know, I've got tattoo. When I did zoology for 15, 20 years. It was the greatest job I ever had in my life. But, unfortunately, I never got to meet him. I've always wanted to go to Australia Zoo. Hopefully one day I will. I still have the chance. I'd love to meet Bindi. I'd love to meet Robert Irwin, and I'd love to meet Terry. I really, really would. But, then you have these other idols in your life. I'd love to meet Steven Crowder. I really would. He's easily top 3 of the people I'd love to meet and shake his hand. But Charlie Kirk was in that top 3 as well. And the fact that I knew somebody, and I do still, and I consider them amazing, the fact that I was able to almost get to meet one of my biggest idols, it breaks my heart, because I will never get that chance ever again. And I know that's selfish, and I know that really it's greedy and it's selfish, because, he's got a family, he's got a wife and kids that will never grow up with their dad. The wife, they will never. I always think of Terry Irwin, she always said she found the one true love with Steven. And I think that's going to be the same thing with Erica Kirk. I think she's never going to ever, not in a, I don't know what the right word is, but I think she's probably going to be alone, and not in a bad way. Just, I think she's going to choose to stay alone and just raise her kids the way she can, because God presented her with Charlie, and Charlie was perfect. Charlie was everything, and he's not here anymore. And it really does. I know I'm not alone. There are a bazillion people out there that it breaks your heart. It really, and I still don't know if we know how to move forward from this. I don't know. Maybe today, because of the memorial, we'll be able to find a way to kind of take that step forward. To me, doing this video right now is, for me, a little bit helpful to move forward, but it has been challenging, finding the motivation of, like, when you wake up and you just kind of, that this is now the world. We already knew it, especially folks like me, Trump supporters, conservatives. We knew the world was the way it was. But with Charlie's assassination, there's now the reality of, this is now real, more than we thought ever. We never thought it would have gotten to this point, but it now is here, and it now is reality, that just believing what you believe will get you killed, especially if you live in a blue area, a blue state, maybe more democratic, blah, 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 blah. And let's not sugarcoat that. I'm surrounded by it, whether it was when I lived in California or Washington. That's why I am desperate to get out. Because it's not a case of, I don't want to, again, I got to be careful, paycheck. It just comes down to the fact that I want to be surrounded by people with similar mindsets, similar peaceful mindsets. Otherwise, it's a challenge, and it's a battle, and it's a war that I gladly fight every single day. And I hope and I pray to God that with every day that continues next, Charlie's with every single one of you, including me. I firmly believe that, and I firmly pray for it, because he spoke to a lot of people, and he spoke to a lot of people in a way I don't think they even realize to this day. And I hope with time and with prayer and with everything else in between, you can look inside and say, I can do better, I can be more. And I hope that you speak to that. I hope you take those passions and those loves and everything else in between, And I hope you do more, and I hope you speak more, and I hope you are the better person that you really can be. I've always said that people have potential. Sometimes you got to tap into it. Many people don't. Trust me, just tapping into the potential can send you in directions you never thought possible. And like I said, even with this video, there might be only 3 or 4 people that ever watch this. But you know what? That's 3 or 4 people that never watched it before. And who knows, maybe you'll become a fan. Check out some of my other shit too. Do the usual stuff. If you would be ever so kind, I would love you from the bottom of my heart. I really, really would. Until then, folks, I'm going to try and figure out a little bit more about how to do this stuff. But I promise you from the bottom of my heart, you'll be seeing a lot more of this beautiful, beautiful face because, quite frankly, I need to, I think, or something. I don't know. But anyway, guys, we will catch you in the next episode. Laters, y'all.